So you're moving to the first apartment of your very own. Or maybe you found the perfect forever home where you're going to start raising your family. Or have the kids finally flown the coop and you're ready to start downsizing. Well, whatever the reason, you're here to find the perfect stainless steel cookware for you, and I'm going to help you find it. So stick around and I'll give you all of my top tips. Have you ever walked into a cookware store and asked the sales clerk to show you their favorite cookware or their best stainless steel cookware, only to have them show you something that's $1,500, $2,000? Well, that used to happen to me all the time, a number of times a day. And it didn't take me long to realize that that's not quite what they were looking for. And not just because of the price. Just because it's my favorite or it's the best doesn't mean it's the best for you. You really need to find that perfect set, the one that's going to suit you the best. If you've already been out to look for a cookware set or have been looking online, they've probably all started looking the same to you. And how do you know which one is the best set? Well, I have a checklist that I like to go through. Now, the number one on the checklist is the makeup of the pans themselves. How are they put together? Some of the most affordable cookware on the market comes with what they call an encapsulated bottom. That means that most of the material is going to be focused simply on the bottom of the pot. So the bottom layer is going to be a magnetic steel, usually what they would call an 18-0. The middle layer is going to be what's going to conduct the heat, so an aluminum or copper. Copper isn't used as much at the moment, mainly because it has become so expensive. The final layer is going to be what makes up the pot itself, and that's going to be an 1810. The nice thing about encapsulated cookware is that it tends to be a little bit lighter, especially when it's just those three layers. So if you do have a hard time lifting heavy pots, maybe there's some arthritis in your wrists, then this can become a nice option. The problem with encapsulated bottoms is that because all of that heat is centered on the bottom, you could potentially be burning the food on the bottom before it's even boiling on top. So you really need to pay a bit more attention to what's going on, and you'll need to stir it a bit more often to distribute the heat. The next style of cookware that we're going to look at is what we would call a clad cookware. So this can be either 3, 5, or 7 ply. So whereas the previous cookware just had those 3 layers on the bottom, with the clad you get the same 3 layers that go all the way up the sides. This provides a much more even cooking, so you don't have the worry of the burning on the bottom before it's simmering on top. It will also hold the heat a little bit better, so you can even back off the heat on the element. It can be quite a bit heavier than the encapsulated bottoms, so as I mentioned, if you do have arthritis, you definitely want to go into the shops and test out the weights yourself. Number 2 on the checklist are going to be the handles and their connections to the pot. They're either going to be riveted or welded on. A lot of people prefer the riveted handles because they believe it to be a stronger connection. However, what's really going to happen is you're more likely just to get some early warning because those rivets will loosen, whereas a weld, that handle will just come off if it's going to happen. Some people really like the welded handles because it's so easy to clean the interior of the pot. If you're low on storage, you might also want to think if you want 2 handles for the pots or just 1 long handle. The 2-handled pots are much easier to stack in a cupboard. Number 3 on the list is going to be the makeup of the cookware set itself. So, are you interested in having a lot of pots? Or is it important to have a couple of frying pans as well? You also sometimes will have the option of a steamer or even a double boiler. The nice thing about buying a cookware set is that you definitely get more for your money than if you bought everything a piece at a time. However, you want to find a set that's more tuned to your style of cooking. Do you like to use stainless steel frying pans? I know I do, but a lot of people find that they have trouble with food sticking, so they like to add a couple of non-stick frying pans to finish their set out and buy a set of mainly pots. Other people will have a really nicely used cast iron frying pan so that the stainless steel ones just take up space in the cupboard. Once you've decided on that, you might want to look at other things like, does it come with a steamer or a saute pan? Like I said, you want to find the set that's going to work best for you. So number 4 are going to be the lids. Now I know a lot of people might be like, lids, why is that important? But you do have the option between glass lids and stainless steel. I really prefer the stainless steel lids, but I do tend to drop things. If I drop a lid made of stainless steel, it could dent, but I'm still going to be able to use it. If I drop a glass lid and it cracks, it's not going to be any good to me and I'll need to replace it. Some people really like the glass lids. They like watching the food as it cooks. I just find that the steam sometimes clouds it up and I can't see anything anyway. What I have started to notice in glass lids is that they're adding strainers to them. Those can be really handy if you're trying to drain the water while keeping the food still inside the pot. Now, number 5 on the list is going to be the finish of the pots. Do you prefer that nice high polished shine of a cookware set? Or do you prefer maybe that more matte or brushed look? The finish on the pots isn't going to have anything to do with the performance of the cookware at all. It really is just personal preference. Some people find that the high polished pots mark a little bit easier, but I also find that those pots are easier to bring back the original shine. Now, number 6 on my list is going to be where that pot is made. It will be more important to some people than others, but if it is important to you, it is best to ask ahead of time so that you're not pointed in one direction and get your heart set on something only to find, oh, it's not made in Europe. So do you want it made in North America or in Europe, or is it all right for it to be made overseas, say in Korea or Vietnam or China? There are a lot of reasons on why you may not want to buy an item made in one country over another. However, if it is a company that you trust and they have built up a strong reputation, odds are they don't want to ruin that reputation just because they've moved production overseas. Trust in the company, trust in their warranty. Where it's made shouldn't be an issue. Now, finding that perfect set of pots is kind of like looking for a house or a new car. You might not be able to find every point that you want, so pick which ones you're willing to make compromises on. Might be the lids or it might be the finish. Which ones are more important to you? Let me know down in the comments. Well, I do hope you found this information informative and helpful. I will post a link to my checklist in the description below. Feel free to print it out and take it shopping with you next time. Hopefully it'll save you a lot of frustration. If you did enjoy today's video, please hit the like button so I know to keep making more. I also have some upcoming videos on how best to use and care for that stainless steel cookware. So if you don't want to miss them, hit subscribe. Thanks so much for joining me here at Cookware SOS. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.